Good morning, everyone. This is Pete Wall here on Pillar to Post, and this is your review and, well, my opinions on last night's AEW Rampage for October 22nd here in 2021. Now, before we get going, I want to say something, and it's not to shit on other products. It's not me bitching or complaining. It's my opinion, and I'm going to maybe give you a little rant about it. You see, AEW gives us a 1-hour show every Friday night, 10 p.m. Not a good time slot. But what they deliver is matches. They deliver wrestling. You get the same amount of wrestling in 1 hour from AEW than you do on a Monday Night Raw in 3 hours. Now, tell me in the comments section, isn't that sickening? Isn't that pathetic? You see, this is why I started tuning in to AEW, not only because it was fresh 2 years ago, not only because it was superstars that they were gathering that were pretty big deals out in New Japan Pro Wrestling and across the indies. It was a new start. They were promising things that that WWE dropped a long time ago. You see, WWE wants to pretend they're Hollywood and not all about pro wrestling, whereas AEW knows what they're there for, and that's to give us professional wrestling. And that is what fans are sorely missing from WWE. Now, you've got the diehards that are going to tell you that Vince McMahon is God in the wrestling world. Well, I'm going to let them believe that. I'm not going to shit on anyone's enjoyment. If they're enjoying the product of what WWE does, then let them enjoy it. But when I want to watch professional wrestling, I'm going to tune into All Elite Wrestling. You see, I understand SmackDown does things a little bit better, a little bit different than Raw, because Fox has a little bit of say in what goes down. They want to see a little flash of what we used to see from WWE. It's not all about product placement. It's not all about pushing the envelope when it comes to, oh, this is who's sponsoring us, and we've got to push this shit down our viewers' throats till they can't breathe. Now, AEW, they give you wrestling, and yes, there is that product placement, there is those sponsorships, but it's not crammed down our throats till we can't breathe. So that's my rant to start the show off. Now, was AEW Rampage the best show that you've ever seen? Probably not. But their main event, it took you to the edge of your seat and kept you watching. And that is what it's all about, the build-up, the climax, the crescendo, if you will, to a great show. Now, we had a great opening bout. We had a not-so-bad match in the women's division. Something I believe that they could work on a little bit is the women's division. Actually, they could work on it a whole lot. And you can see signs that they are starting to do that. But you've got two talented women like Anna Jay, who is very green still, very fresh to the ring. And you can see that by her movement. She's a little bit slow sometimes when she is delivering some of her kicks, some of her punches, her reactions, her ability to sell certain things is still being worked on. But you can see they're being worked on, and that's what I like to see. Now, she just came back from a, 7-8 month injury, sitting on the shelf. Not a bad deal. But I would like to see them really working with these women a little bit more, giving them a little bit more time, so that way they can better themselves in that ring, and that way the women's division can be on par with the men's division. Contrary to what anyone thinks, I enjoy women's wrestling, and I try and give the women, when I do my fantasy wrestling here on YouTube with Big Dog Wrestling and Renegade Wrestling Organization, I try and give you just as many women matches as men matches. Now I do universe mode, so it's 7 matches limit. And with time frames and my life as it is, I do usually 3 women's matches, 4 men's matches. So I think it's kind of on par. And I would like to see something like that start going down with AEW, give these women a little bit more time, and maybe we'll just start seeing them improve a lot more than we have. It isn't such a slow process. Maybe they can do what they did this week. There was an altercation last week with Britt Baker and Anna Jay, and they followed that up with a match here on Rampage last night. So, all in all, I would say it was a pretty good 1 hour show. Not the greatest, but the main event clearly made up for that. And when you got 2 guys like Pac or Pac, whatever you want to call them, and Andrade El Idolo, well, it's magic in the ring. They got charisma together. They're in sync, and whatever they do and whatever they're going to deliver to us, it's going to be the best to their abilities, and they proved that last night. But let's get on with the show. Let me bring up my notes here and get to it. So, our opening bout, Orange Cassidy taking on Powerhouse Hobbs. Now, I want to say something here, and it might bother some folks, but in my opinion, having Taz on the announce table during one of his members' matches sucks. I don't like hearing, oh, no. Oh, come on, you got to get in there. Come on, you got to do this. It's not something I want to hear. The manager should be ringside. Okay, the manager should always be ringside when his men are fighting. Now, I understand he's not so much as a manager, more of a coach or whatever the deal is. But it just doesn't work for me having Taz on the announce table. Now, he could leave the announce table and bring his guys down and stand there and support him at ringside. Maybe we wouldn't have to hear that stuff on the commentary, but we're getting what we get. And Taz has done this even with Samoa Joe back in Impact days or TNA days. And I hated it then. And I don't like it now. It needs to change. He needs to be ringside if he wants to support his men. It would, to me, it would make him look more of a manager and probably look like he's benefiting the team a little bit more than he does over on there. Now, Ricky Starks at commentary is just golden. The guy knows how to talk. The guy knows how to get things moving and keep the viewers on TV in the mix. I do enjoy that. Now, he is part of Team Taz, but it's not as bad as what Taz does. So, the first match of the night saw Cassidy take on Hobbs for the World Title Eliminator Tournament bout. Now, with the last encounter ending with Cassidy having his hand raised, Hobbs was definitely looking for revenge here in Rampage tonight. And, well, with the addition of a title shot on the line, clearly revenge not the only thing on his mind, but to climb that rung and maybe get a little bit further up in his career. Now, Hobbs still fairly fresh in the wrestling world, whereas Cassidy has been around for quite some time in the indies, and his gimmick, the kids love it. Me, I'm not quite so fond of it. He's a little bit too laid back in the ring, too gimmicky in the ring. When he cuts loose, then it gets exciting. Then then I want to see him. But when he's putting his hands in his pockets, the little taps with the shin kicks, it's just not my thing. Now, to get the match going, and if you remember back when Orange Cassidy and Powerhouse Hobbs met the last time, it ended in like 30 seconds, maybe not even that. It was the quickest pinfall in AEW record to date. Orange Cassidy came in with the orange punch. Now, basically, it's a Superman punch. And this time, though, Powerhouse Hobbs was ready for it. Caught him in a spine buster. Now we've seen Orange Cassidy roll to the outside. And Hobbs quickly followed after and just laid down the beats. Now, the majority of this matchup was Hobbs just wreaking havoc on the taped up ribs, the back of Orange Cassidy, which was a good thing. Now, what didn't make sense to me, though, near the end of this match, Hobbs in total control. He was delivering splash after splash in the corner. And for some odd reason, the referee really put himself in there. Now, I can understand the 5 count, but they've never really held true to those rules in the past. And it irked me because, one, it looked like a clear setup for a bit of a, screw job. Hobbs got tired of the ref, picked him up, carried him across the ring, put him down in the far corner, had a little bit of words with him, and as he was about to surely hurt the referee, then Hook got up on the apron, stopped him, tried cooling him down, and the referee got back in Hobbs' face, railing at him. And from behind, here comes Orange Cassidy with the sneak roll-up, boom, 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 all done, and Orange Cassidy moves on to the next round. Now, like I said, the physicality was great in this match. Hobbs dominated throughout the match. But there were times where it looked very sluggish. It was a lot slower. And the first half, however, was a lot better. There was movement. There was constant beatdowns of Orange Cassidy. And I think for a guy like Hobbs who's been having short matches, this probably went a little bit longer than he's used to. He needs to work on his cardio. Perhaps, I don't know. But it did start looking a little bit sluggish. The roll-up for the win, I would have liked to have seen Hobbs move on, give him a little bit more confidence in the wrestling world here as he progresses his talents in AEW. But all in all, not a bad way to start the match off. I just think it was a bad way to pull off the ending. The referee getting involved like he didn't make sense to me. Just saying. But like I stated, the wrestling was there, and we got to see it. Now, I'm not a fan of picture-to-picture, but at least I get to watch it still when the show's going, and you just got to deal with the noise of the commercial, which is a little bit distracting, but we had to see that throughout the show. And like I said, it takes a little bit away from the experience, but, this is going to be a nice start for what Orange Cassidy can really do in this tournament. And I'm hoping as he progresses throughout the tournament, we get to start seeing a little bit more of a different character in him. Not so laid back. Like I stated on my last show, I don't mind if he's laid back in the locker room area or for interviews or for promos. But when you're in the ring, lose the shtick and just let yourself go. Let the animal out a little bit. So up next, we had Britt Baker. She is our AEW Women's World Heavyweight Champion. And I got to say, I love Britt Baker, what she's done from the get-go. Now, we started seeing a little bit of a different side of her the first year. She was hot. I said she was like one of the top ones to be the first AEW World Champion. Well, we didn't get that. And then it seemed like her career kind of went into a little bit of a dive. One big fart in the wind. And I was kind of losing my confidence in AEW on what they should be doing with Britt Baker. But she found herself recently, about the last year. She's really amped up her gimmick, her character, and the fans have really got behind her. She's supposed to be a heel, but the fans, you can hear them every time she's out there. They're cheering, they're chanting DMD. I like hearing that. Now, number 99 of the Dark Order, Anna Jay. Like I said at the top of the show, very green still. You can see she needs to deliver some of her punches, some of her kicks a little bit quicker so they look a little bit more realistic. She's very slow when she's delivering these kicks and punches, and it really takes away from her true ability. Now, if I remember correctly, hearing from the announcers or the commentators on the last time we've seen Anna Jay, she does have martial arts background, so maybe she's trying to integrate that into her wrestling, but she's unsure of herself, that she might accidentally hurt someone by a little bit of full contact. I don't know what it is, but they need to start working with her, build her confidence up a little bit, get her to speed up those moves, and I think it'll make her look a lot more solid, a lot more polished in that ring. And them giving her more airtime, and plus getting to face the women's world heavyweight champion last night on Rampage is definitely going to help her confidence in herself. And that's what you want to see in a wrestling show, is the the champions not just facing the top players. They're letting them face the ones that are just coming up. And Anna Jay, clearly the one that is the up and comer here. Now, as always, Britt Baker has Rebel and Jamie Hayter there for, moral support, if you will. And there's going to be some fuckery going on. And quite surprisingly, there wasn't too much of that going on last night. We seen a little bit of interference from Hayter. She got taken out by Anna Jay, knocked off the apron. I believe Rebel got involved as well. We didn't see much of her. I can't even remember what happened to her, but it doesn't really matter. It wasn't a bad match, and I've got to say it was probably the best match I've seen Anna Jay in, ever here in AEW, and that is due to the abilities of Britt Baker. We've seen them go after hold, submission attempt after submission attempt. Anna Jay did quite well. We've seen some hiccups, but all in all, not a bad match. Now, we've seen the Queen Slayer get pulled out a lot, which is basically a sleeper hold, rear naked chokehold. I don't know exactly what you want to call it, but not a bad maneuver to use. But in the end, it was Dr. Britt Baker taking the victory here with kind of a Rings of Saturn mandible claw, you want to call it. It is known as lockjaw, and I do like it that they utilize it. Now, we've seen Rebel slip the glove over Britt Baker's hand right beforehand, but it's a nice gimmick for the champion to have. It's what she has done, I guess, in real life, from the shtick that they're feeding us. I don't know if she's an actual dentist. I'm not going to argue it. I don't know shit. But, all in all, pretty solid match for the women's division. And, yes, there might have been some hiccups, some moves that were delivered a little bit haphazardly. But all in all, it showed that they're trying to build up Anna Jay, give her that TV time, give her that experience she needs when she's going up against someone like Britt Baker. The sloppy moment really came from Baker. She tried to kick off the turnbuckle and roll into a pin, but landed wrong. But like I said, not a bad match. And what I like about it is the fact that they're willing to go that extra mile for these up-and-comers, these greenhorns, I guess they would be called. Now, it didn't stop there after the win, though. After the submission by Britt Baker, she went back at Anna Jay, and lo and behold, Anna Jay's friend, Tay Conti, hit the ring, saving Jay, helped push the ongoing feud with Dr. Britt Baker, and when Britt Baker escaped the ring, she left the title behind, which allowed Tay Conti to grab the title, raise it up high, and show that she was coming for that world title. So the feud is lit, and let's see where it goes. Now, I know Tay Conti, a very big fan favorite, but another one that needs a little bit more time in that ring, and this will just help her hone her skills a little bit more, as well as her character. She is a very positive-looking person, besides being beautiful and attractive, but she's got a lot of experience in martial arts, and I want to see more of that coming through, and just a lot cleaner style, though. Following this, though, we had a bit of a backstage interview with Tony Schiavone, Pac, and El Idolo. They both made their cases on their main event match, set it up, allowed the fans to realize there is a backstory here. There is a hatred there. There is animosity. There is a way to do wrestling, and they know how to do it. They know how to provoke each other, and they know how to provoke the fans to get involved with this matchup. And as a main event, I think it was chosen wisely, allowing these two to open up on each other and allow them to close the show the way they did. Now, what I liked about this match was the very, very beginning. Now, both men made their entrances, and when Pac got into the ring, he went straight to El Idolo. Face off, a little stare down. The referee backed him up a little bit and then released him. Now, we seen Idolo charge at Pac, and Pac, ready for it, hit that spinning kick to the gut and a snap German suplex. Looked brutal, and that's why the Bastard is so well liked about his abilities in that ring. You know, he's got a good character. He's got that anger, and it was said best by one of the commentators. You know, you don't see many people that unleash their anger with such intensity like Pac does. And there was even a reference to his style as well as his attitude in that ring, and they said he was very similar to Dynamite Kid, and I appreciated that little flashback, that little memory of Dynamite Kid, because if you have ever watched the British Bulldogs or the Dynamite Kid in the ring, that guy was all about intensity and someone that you really wanted to watch when he was wrestling. Now, he might have not have been a big guy on the card, but you wanted to watch what he was going to do, and Pac is a guy like that. Taking nothing away from Andrade El Idolo, the guy knows how to wrestle. The guy knows how to excite the fans. I appreciate that he's learning to speak English in a better way, and trying to do his own promos on his own. His promos still need a lot of work, but he's trying, and that's what I like to see. Idolo rolled out of the ring right after that snap German. Pac followed with a dive over the top rope to take him out. The Bastard avoided double knees in the corner, unleashed a series of quick strikes, but it was non-stop action. Now, Andrade was able to knock Pac. I always want to say Pac because, back in the day, X-Pac. But knocked him off the apron, hit a corkscrew crossbody to the arena floor. And that led us into the commercial break. But from there on, it was just Andrade, just over and over, just punishing Pac to his utmost abilities. We came back. Pac hit a Hurricane Rana from the top apron to the floor, sent El Idolo into a chair, and you could see his lower back just nail that edge of the seat of the chair. It was beautiful. You could see the welts forming very quickly afterwards. Now, we've seen Pac quickly follow up with a perfect moonsault from the middle turnbuckle. They traded elbow strikes on the apron until Andrade dropped his opponent with a clubbing blow to the chest. Pac began to make a comeback and hit a super brainbuster from the top rope. I thought it was over right there, folks. Just a devastating maneuver to hit from the top turnbuckle, and very dangerous as well. And to see Andrade be able to kick out still, like I said, right from the get-go, the intensity was there. It was a solid match. And to have these two close out the show the way they did, it was nice to be able to just view decent wrestling. Now, it went back and forth with strikes, near falls, until Pac rolled up El Idolo for the win. Now, shortly after this, right after the 1, 2, 3, the lights just went completely out. I knew who it was right away. Malachi Black appears in the ring, and he's staring at Idolo and Pac, and then sprayed that black mist in the face of Pac, and then went straight after him. Idolo joined in, and then Cody Rhodes hit the ring to make the save, sending Black on his way along with El Idolo. A very, very solid way to close out the show. It's still hyping that feud between Malachi Black and Cody Rhodes. Um, I want to see Cody Rhodes do the best he can, and Malachi Black will bring that out in him. I like the storytelling that's going on here, although it's been pretty one-sided, and it goes in the favor of Malachi Black now, and I don't want it to be just a burial of Malachi in the end when it comes to their third and final match. Or, well, who says it's going to be final? Um, you know, if you came into the show, especially the main event, expecting less than what you get from WWE, you were sorely mistaken. It was definitely a show stealer in every sense of the word, and Rampage did justice when they said, watch your wrestling, and that has become a favored catchphrase of Tony Khan when they've recently got it trademarked as well. So you give the fans the chemistry of Pac and El Idolo. You give them the abilities of both men inside that ring, the high flying abilities of both men. You're going to get an A style match, and that's what we got in our main event. And it's something I've become expectant of when it comes to AEW when they do these 1 hour shows for Rampage. Now, it wasn't the 1 hour extension like they gave us last week, but like I stated, they're giving us an hour of wrestling. It isn't all just talk. It isn't starting the show off with a 15-20 minute rant that you've heard 100 times by the same wrestlers over and over and over again. It isn't that crap match that we've seen from the what is it called, the Queen's Crown tournament for the women's division. Like I stated, AEW's got a long way to go when it comes to the women's division. No ifs, ands, or said, about it. But they're giving them the opportunity, and that's what I like seeing. So they're on the right path. They just got to know to go a little bit more. Now, there's a lot of people that go on about this war between WWE. It's not a war unless they're going head to head. I agree in some ways. I agree in some ways, and eventually we might get that. You never know. But also says a lot that Tony Khan wants to separate the two because he wants to make sure that they're doing their own thing. They're not watching what WWE does and following suit. They're on a path of their own. They're on a journey. They're going to get to where they want to go. And eventually, maybe we see that head-to-head war. I don't know. But this, regardless, Wednesday night, Friday night, or like in this case, tonight, Dynamite on at 8 p.m., it's a war regardless because WWE is trying to turn it into a war. They're trying to. Now we get a little bit of yapping and yipping like a bunch of chihuahuas over on AEW every now and then. Actually, quite a lot when they diss WWE a lot. But they're also making responses to attacks, verbal attacks by WWE competitors. I don't mind it. It's intriguing. Sometimes it could be a little bit childish, and I shy away from that. War, I wouldn't say it is a war yet. But when it comes to favored wrestling shows, this guy here, the Angry Viking here on Pillar to Post, he's going to tune into All Elite Wrestling. And, I watched the highlights from Crown Jewel. It wasn't a bad show. It wasn't. Besides all the shit surrounding being in Saudi Arabia and all that crap, the highlights look good. Okay, I won't watch the actual show. I just can't bring myself to it. But they gave a pretty damn good show over in Saudi Arabia for Crown Jewel. It doesn't make sense the way they went about a lot of things. And, I'll stay true to AEW until WWE starts giving me something I want to watch. But that's me for this review show on AEW Rampage. And I want to let you guys know I'll be watching AEW Dynamite tonight. but my reviews followed the next day. Why? Well, there's a simple reason. I like going to bed at a decent hour now. I like being able to relax alongside my wife, watch a movie, or just listen to music. I enjoy just the peace at night. I don't need to go till 4 in the morning anymore. My body allows me to sleep, and therefore I sleep. So I do apologize for not doing these right after the show ends, but we all do what is best for us, and that's the only thing we can do is do the best that we can do for us. So have a great day. I'll see you later on. I do understand I haven't been doing any RWO or Big Dog Wrestling shows this week. Yesterday was my wife's birthday. I also finished up the 53 Mercury outside. So I do apologize. Maybe there's a little bit of time today I can do a show. I don't know. But make sure if you enjoyed this review show, you subscribe if you're new to the channel. You hit that thumbs up, and you make sure you have that notification bell clicked, because that is the only way you're going to get these reviews. Have a great day, folks. Always have a better tomorrow. But for now, I am out of here.